Hi, today we are going to start with our quadratics review mini unit. There are two items that we're going to review. We are going to start by reviewing how to factor, and then once we can factor, we are going to then move into solving a quadratic equation. So if you want to get to the next page, it's titled Factoring Review. So there are so many ways to factor. And I have this set up with, I've got three methods, I guess you can say. First one, and probably the preferred method, is guess and check. The second method is called split the middle. And it's also called other items as well. So as we work through it, it might look familiar to you. And then the third method, I'm going to call it special cases. I guess it's not really a method, it's more a type of question. Let's start with guess and check. And the reason I said it was the preferred method is because it really gets you to review and work on what are your factors, multiplication facts, things like that are really going to be helpful as you work through this. So I want to actually back up before we jump into the first problem. So I guess maybe over to the side here or wherever you have some space, I want you to write this problem down. I want you to write down x plus 7 in parentheses times x minus 4. And so I want us to multiply this. Okay, so remember, when you multiply, sometimes it's called FOIL. You're really distributing. So we're going to take the first term and we're going to multiply it into that first set of parentheses. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. And then we're going to do the same thing for the 7 and distribute it in. So take the 7 and distribute it into the second set of parentheses. So 7 times x is 7x, so plus 7x since it's positive. 7 times 4 is negative 28. And then I would say 99% of the time, your middle terms here will combine. So we have, simplify this down, we have x squared, negative 4 plus 7 is 3. So positive 3x, and then negative or minus 28. So here is the simplified answer to multiply. When we factor, we're really reversing that process. So we're taking this as the question, I guess, and we're trying to go backwards and come up with the two factors. So if you think about like 3 times 5 multiplies to 15, 3 and 5 are factors. So x plus 7 times x minus 4 multiplies up to this trinomial. So these two are factors. All right. So on the guess and check method, also a reminder that the first term, not the first term, but the coefficient of the first term. So 1 in this case, we call the a value. This is the b value, the middle term or the term with the x. And then the term without the variable is the c value. So when we go to factor, if you look at the very first one compared to the second one, see how the a value is 1, the a value is bigger than 1. So guessing and checking when the a value is 1 should be super fast. Because if you look at my example problem here, because this a value is 1, I am able to search for two factors, that multiply up, I'm going to put a little multiplication sign here, that multiply up to the c value, but at the same time, those factors add to the b value. So I've got 7 times negative 4 is equal to negative 28. 7 plus negative 4 is equal to 3. So when that a value is 1, those are the two things I can ask myself. What multiplies up to the c value, but also adds to the a value, or I'm sorry, the b value. So I'm going to switch to pencil because I do a lot of erasing when I factor, because sometimes I get it right on the first try, sometimes I don't. So I want factors of 10. So over to the side, I just list them out. I always start with 1 and move on. So 1 times 10, 2 goes into 10, 2 times 5, and then I'm finished. There are no more. So between these two, now I'm looking for factors that multiply up to -10 but add up to 3. Now when I do this, I kind of ignore the negatives for a moment, and I ask myself on this middle one, what numbers add or subtract to 3? I'm never going to be able to get 1 and 10 to add or subtract to 3, but I can get 2 and 5 to do that by figuring out which number gets the negative. So if they multiply to -10, either the 2 or the 5 should be negative. I want them to add to 3. So when I want a sum to be positive, I want the larger of the two factors to be positive. So if I look at it as 5 and -2, that's going to add up to 3. 5 times -2 is going to multiply to 10. Okay, so my answer, I'm going to add my two parentheses. And I know the first term in each parenthesis is just x because I'm going to have x times x multiply up to x squared. It doesn't matter where we put these. So I'm just going to put -2 here. I'll put +5 here. And then I just take another look. Yeah, they multiply up to the -10. They add up to the 3. Okay, so there are the factors of the first one. Skip the second one. Try this third one here. I want you to try to do the guess and check method on this one. So pause the video and then come back to the video when you have your answer. Okay, so I would list out factors of 20. 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 3, 4 times 5. So when I start with 1 and move up, when these two factors get really close together, that means I have found my, I'm done looking for factors. So I want them to add or subtract to 9. So I can get 5 and 4 to add up to 9, and I can also get it to add to -9 by incorporating negatives on both. And so then if I do that, then negative times negative gives me positive. So I have C and C. One of my factors is -4, one is -5. Okay, and it does not matter the order that you wrote it in. Okay, on the second one, I guess actually the third one here. So I'm still going to do guess and check, but the main difference is I have an a value bigger than 1. So I know it has to be, it's not just going to be 1x times 1x. So I need to list out factors of the 2 and of the 14, and I'll come back to the negative later. So there's only one set of factors of 2, 1 times 2. 14 could be 1 times 14, 2 times 7, but that's it. Okay, so here's where I really need my pencil because I'm going to try something and then maybe switch it and erase it. So there's only one set of factors of 2. So it's going to have to be 1x and 2x. Okay? Factors of 14. It could be 1 and 14 or 2 and 7. So when I list my factors like this, I always start checking from the bottom of the list and work my way up. I don't have a good reason for that. 95% of the time, and I just threw that percentage out, it's this bottom set of factors. And like I said, I haven't ever looked into why. It just works out most of the time. So I am going to put, for now, I'm going to leave a blank. I'm going to put a 2 here and a 7 here. And so remember, I want the middle two terms to add up to the b value. Okay, so I need to check the multiplication between the first and the last term, that's that -4x, and the 7 and the x, the middle two. So I always go like this. I want to see, if I multiply these two together, what do I get? 4x. If I multiply these two together, what do I get? 7x. Can I make that add or subtract to 3? Or I should say -3. And I can. If I make the 7 negative and the 4 positive, 4 plus -7 is -3. But they're not going to add it or multiply to the -14 because I already have the 2 and the 7. So follow back up and put those positives and negatives in. So the 4 came out of here, plus 4. The negative came out of here. And then if I look, 2 times -7 is -14. Now, if that would not have worked, then I would switch the location of the 7 and 2. Okay, so we might look at another one in a bit. So this is my answer. So go ahead and circle it. Okay, I'm actually going to stop the video here and do a second video on split the middle, and hopefully get the special cases in that video as well.